Does this moment, when you think about the primacy of the dollar, feel notionally different than those?
Look, dollar dominance, I always come back and say, well, where else are you going to go, right? So start with that. And, if you think about the reserve currency, you're looking for stability, you're looking for strong economies, you're looking for a trust. You have to have a free-floating currency, capital, you can't have a lot of capital controls. So I don't think there's a question about the dollar dominance. I think there's a question about how much it gets chipped away, right? And you definitely see that. And you see that, and honestly, I actually think there's a lot of discussion about how tariffs and can you trust the U.S. has impacted it. But I actually go back to, in talking to some central banks, when Russia invaded the Ukraine and the U.S. froze assets of Russia in U.S. dollar, there was this, this could be us. And so I actually think it started a little bit there where people said, okay, we need to start to diversify this a bit. And then you've obviously had the comments on, how can we trust the U.S. in how they behave in certain ways. And you see it, right? You see, like, when when Russia was taken away from SWIFT, you now see contracts being done. India's buying oil from Russia in rupee, denominated invoicing. China and Russia are operating in the yuan. So that's the chipping away component. You still have the dollar dominance. Over the last 5 years, the U.S. market has been so strong, right? Since 2022 with a couple of hiccups. I also think part of this is a little bit of rebalancing. And then it all depends on your perspective. I mean, if you were in Europe and you invest in the U.S. market, even though this has been a pretty strong market this year, you pretty much were wiped out because of the depreciation of the dollar. So I think part of this also is where you sit, because currency is always a risk that you have to weigh into your portfolio. But I think that, I also think like U.S. investors are looking around the globe as well to say, where are there other opportunities that we should be thinking about? A third of our clients come from outside the U.S., and so our view is we have to have the right products for all markets. So you might get U.S. investors who say, well, I'm not going to invest in China and technology because I'm worried that there may be a policy change. On the other hand, you have Asian, European, Middle East investors who say, look at how the performance of the Chinese market. I think there's great opportunity, great innovation here. I want to invest here. So I think a lot of it depends on your seat.